The man watched in horror as the girl before him put a gun to her mouth and pulled the trigger. He froze in shock, paralyzed by what he had just witnessed. Snapping back to reality, he rushed forward and frantically dialed for emergency services. But as the call connected, a piece of white paper on the ground caught his eye and held his attention. On it, the girl had written, "To whoever finds my body first, please dig a large hole and bury me in the woods. In return, you'll find $1 million in cash inside the black backpack." Staring at a sum most people wouldn't be able to spend in a lifetime, the man's mind was spinning. He didn't know what to do, but his right hand seemed to act on its own. All he had to do was complete the 911 call and it would all be over. But he also knew that doing so would mean watching that $1 million vanish forever. A deep ache took hold in his chest. After a moment of torment, he made a bold decision. Once he was sure no one was around, he grabbed a nearby shovel and walked slowly toward a clearing. He began digging, carefully, methodically, picturing how he'd spend every last dollar. But just as he was caught up in the fantasy, the girl, who had supposedly shot herself, suddenly stood up from the chair. Unaware, the man kept digging, totally convinced he was alone, but the faint sound behind him made his blood run cold. He turned, startled and panicked, like someone caught red-handed. The girl hadn't died at all. Her gun had only contained a blank, and the collapse had merely been from the shockwave knocking her out. Hearing her calmly explain what had happened, the man couldn't help but laugh with relief. But when she turned to look at the large pit he had been digging, he felt the need to explain himself, only to freeze mid-sentence. A realization hit him like a bolt of lightning. He looked at her, stunned. This girl was far more calculating than he had imagined. This entire scenario had been an elaborate setup. Even so, he reluctantly handed back the $1 million in cash. The girl turned and walked away without so much as a glance back or an apology. The man's smile faded. His hands clenched tighter around the shovel. Watching her retreat into the wilderness, a dangerous glint flashed in his eyes. Out here in the middle of nowhere, he could still make the money his. But in the end, reason triumphed over greed. Though frustrated to watch his shot at wealth slip away, he knew he'd rather live with a clear conscience. What he didn't realize was that everything, his actions, his hesitation, even the way he had looked at the money, had all been recorded on a hidden phone. And what awaited him now was not freedom, but an endless nightmare.